Shriman Narayan,
Jai Shri Narayan,
Jai Shriman Narayan,
Jai Shri Narayan,
Jai Shriman Narayan.
Jai Shri Narayan.
I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Shree Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to our Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to our 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here physically at the Shree Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that are watching this discourse locally, nationally, and internationally. And I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups from around the world subsequently. We are celebrating the month of the Ramanujans. This is a special celebration that is held specifically at the Shree Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa, where we pay our respects and tribute to two of the greatest Ramanujans who has ever walked on this planet Earth, our Adi Guru, Lord Shree Ramanuj, and my Guru, Swami Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. Our Adi Guru set up the theoretical principles, and my Guru practically showed the Vedic injunctions in action. And as we go along, in the remaining days of the 22-day celebrations, I will bring in more information in this regard. As I've explained yesterday and the previous day, Sanātana Dharma is a formal structure. It is an absolute structure. It is an eternal structure. And it is a structure that exists through precision. There is always a rational understanding of Sanātana Dharma, as it is not a religion. Religion is history of some prophet who had some revelations about God somewhere in time. Sanātana Dharma is the science of living. Sanātana Dharma is every breath you take. Sanātana Dharma is every breath you exhale. Sanātana Dharma is every thought that enters your mind. And Sanātana Dharma is every thought that leaves your mind. Every cell in your body is Sanātana Dharma. And Sanātana Dharma is every cell in your body. You don't have to believe in Sanātana Dharma for Sanātana Dharma to exist. Sanātana Dharma is not a belief system. Sanātana Dharma is your reality. Sanātana Dharma is your truth. Whether you believe in Sanātana Dharma or not believe in Sanātana Dharma, it doesn't care. Like your car's computer box. Whether you believe in the computer box or whether you does not believe in the computer box, when you put your key in the car and turn it to on position, the computer box will function. The computer box will function. You don't have to believe in it. Its functionality is preordained. Yes? You did not get involved in the functionality of your car's computer box. Yes or no? Yeah. Similarly, Sanātana Dharma is here long before you existed. It will be here long after your existence. I'm talking about your material bodies. So, I stated yesterday and the day before that there are 4 dimensions of knowledge and communication. The first dimension being the transcendental dimension, where knowledge is one corpus. It's absolutely pure and it is contained in absolute pure consciousness. The second dimension is intuition. This is where knowledge takes color and form. And the rishis downloaded this absolute pure knowledge from the transcendental dimension into the intuitive dimension, and then later they brought it into, after mentally verbalizing, they brought it into word, and then subsequently into spoken word, and subsequently into writing. So knowledge, which is absolutely pure, at its purest state, is transcendental, and then it comes down to you through intuition, and then it further comes down through mental speech, which is inaudible, and then it comes down to spoken speech, and then it comes down to writing. Spoken speech, audible speech, and writing fall under the same category. It's the lowest category. It is here that corruption takes place of the original transcendental knowledge. It cannot be corrupted in the intuitional state. It cannot be corrupted in the transcendental state where it is absolutely pure, and it cannot be corrupted in the mental state when you are verbalizing this intuitive knowledge. You understand the 4 stages? I'm going to try and discuss it every day until you know it properly. Then this same knowledge divides itself into 2 further dimensions, or 2 further divisions: the para knowledge and the apara knowledge. Okay, in South Africa, if we say para knowledge, then we're looking for criminals. So para knowledge is transcendental knowledge. It's knowledge from the Upanishads that leads you to liberation. Apara knowledge, equally important. Lord Shree Ramanuj said that both systems of knowledge is equally important, and we must take them together. We must take them together. So apara knowledge is knowledge of the material world. This knowledge teaches you how to live a divine dharmic life in the material world, how to live in prosperity. And this is why I use Mother Lakshmi to bless you accordingly because it is legal. It is scripturally legal for you to live a prosperous material life until you realize that's not the end of your life. There is another segment that's missing, and at that point you turn your attention away from prosperity to divinity. And when you turn full divinity, and when you turn to full divinity, then you are eligible for liberation. So this is knowledge in its holistic form. Apara, where you go to school, you learn trade, you learn to work, you perform functions in your country, you get into politics, you get into the police force, you get into businesses, you get into law. All these things are there in the Vedas. Everything is there in the Vedas. But you must not take your eye off the ball of Dharma. Whatever you're doing, keep Dharma as number one. But knowing man, they take these Vedic injunctions and they forget Dharma and they forget divinity. And when man takes these Vedic injunctions, they forget Dharma and they forget divinity, then Sanātana Dharma starts disappearing from the minds of these men that do not connect to the injunctions of Sanātana Dharma in these material activities. So material activities are allowed, but it has to be scripturally regulated. Has to be scripturally regulated. I'm going to come back here. Then we have, once you understand that material life is useless in the end, and the thirst continues within you for something that you cannot fulfill, then you are eligible for liberation. The thirst must be there. You have everything material and you're still unhappy, then that means there is another dimension where you're going to find your happiness. And that dimension is your liberation. The soul is trying to burst out of your body at this stage. The soul is dissatisfied in this body. And that's when the Upanishads come into play. So I'm going to go back where man, in the first portion called the Karma Kanda of the Vedas. Karma Kanda, the portion where you do rituals, you do ritualistic activities and action for the performances of your austerities. This section becomes misused. Every family now around the world has their own conception of the karma kanda aspect of the Vedas. Yes? We're in Kaliyug. We do not have proper Brahmin priests who can chant the Vedic mantras in the right frequency. And this is when the gurus, bona fide spiritual masters, take the place. Because when you follow a bona fide spiritual master, then the ritualistic portions of the Vedas take a back seat. The bona fide spiritual master prepares you for liberation. It does not need to be in this life. I've already initiated and prepared thousands since 2013. I set them up for liberation in this life, in previous lives when they came to me, and many of you that are here, you're going to leave, but I'm already setting you up. We'll meet up later in other lifetimes, those that do not take their liberation. We'll continue meeting until you are liberated. But I'm doing my job and you're doing your job. If you only have university fees for 5 years, you can't complete your PhD, Trisha. Once you have enough money for your university fees to complete your PhD. When you complete your PhD in Sanātana Dharma, you don't take another body again. So some of you all are still in the Karma Kanda. Grade R. Some are in primary, some are in secondary, some are first year university, some are last year PhD. Okay? But you must have your university fees up front, Trisha. You just can't come and sit here. So when your university fees expire, Guru don't give you a loan. He fights with you, so you go away and come back in another lifetime. But whilst you're here, you can do some work in the university, in the side, and accumulate your fees. You have an option. Doesn't mean to say your university fees finish, then you must go back into the cold and suck the honey from the glass, Tisha. When you hear, you can put a teaspoon and have how much honey you want. But all these people that left, they suck in the honey from the glass. Yes, Vasan? You met many of them?
Too many.
You saw them sucking the honey from the glass? It's up to you. So remember, a bona fide ashram and a bona fide guru, there has to be linked to the cosmic law. Bona fide ashram, bona fide guru has to be linked to the cosmic law, because liberation, the law for liberation is not guru-centric, it's God-centric. Yes? So God must have prescribed on how you get liberated, and Guru just runs through the prescription that come from God. And for that you need a proper structure. The Guru needs to be absorbed through his consciousness in an absolute structure, so that the Guru's consciousness can connect to your consciousness and connect you to that absolute structure. So this is a cycle. What's happening now in the world is not new. 5,000 years ago, Lord Shri Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita. 5,000 years, not too long ago. Immediately after he left, together with this being Kaliyug. And we need to understand this part that I'm going to give you properly. All of you that's involved in the transcribing group, the sharing, you need to understand this part properly. Satyug, Guru spoke once. Guru spoke once, the disciple understood fully. Satyug, Guru spoke once, disciple understood fully the entire Vedas. Treta Yuga, same story. Dwapara Yuga, Guru spoke a few times. There was no need for the Vedas to be in written form. There was absolutely no need for the Vedas to be in written form. It is only in Kaliyug that Veda Vyasa codifies the Vedas and breaks it down into the 4 Vedas. Only in Kaliyug, so that man can understand through reading and writing the Vedas. Only in Kaliyug. In the other 3 yugas, gurus in the Gurukul teach you once. The brain has capacity to understand Sanskrit, and when the Vedas is spoken in Sanskrit, the brain reacts favorably, and this has been scientifically proven by schools in Germany and the United Kingdom. These children chant Sanskrit verses in the morning, and by chanting Sanskrit verses in the morning, their brain becomes open to absorb knowledge quickly. Scientifically proven now that Sanskrit is a communication that links directly to the brain and allows quick remembrance. Quick remembrance. Alright? Scientifically proven now by the West. So it is only in Kaliyug that the Vedas are reduced to writing. It is compiled. Compiler means Vyasa. Vyasa means one who compiles. In Sanskrit, Vyasa means one who compiles. Veda Vyasa means one who compiles the Vedas. So in Kaliyug, everyone who is in Satgun should be involved with the Vedas. But God has been so gracious that He gave us the Bhagavad Gita. And in the Bhagavad Gita, He summarized all Vedic knowledge in 700 verses. Jessica, aren't you fortunate to be alive in Kali Yuga? Not being Bhadra Kali, but being alive in Kali Yuga, because it is so simple. Kali Yuga is the simplest. Kali Yuga is the simplest, quickest way to get liberated. Trisha? Kali Yuga is the simplest, quickest way to get liberated. All you have to do, bring your son, walk down the driveway, sit in the Guru's satsang, listen to what the Guru is saying, video the Guru, post it to your friends, or I don't know where your video goes, but every day I get videoed whenever you get. And then by end of this life, if you just follow the Guru, you are liberated. In Satyug, you live, each life you live is 100,000 years. Imagine how much of Revlon Vasan is laughing, Shisha. One would use in 100,000 years. Treta Yuga is 10,000 years, Dwapara Yuga is 1,000 years, and in Kaliyug, you only have to live for 100 years. You carry on walking up and down the stairs, driveway, guaranteed you'll pull your 100. Don't think your son will be too happy, but you'll pull your 100. Okay? So God is meticulous in preparing mankind with a efficient, precise, structured system. I'm using words like precision, structure, meticulous. This is how the absolute Lord should conduct himself. Yes or no? Don't you think the Lord, the absolute Lord, must conduct himself in an absolute way, in a precise way, in an equal way? Don't you think? So the Supreme Lord has created a perfect structure for man. That structure is always in place, and it is also programmed within every soul. That structure that I'm talking about is already embedded in your soul. You don't have to go outside for that structure. It is within your soul. When you start looking inward, then you are in para knowledge. Apara knowledge takes you outward, and para knowledge takes you inward. When you start looking inward, you'll find that knowledge that the Guru is talking about already embedded within you. So I said this false philosophies, misinterpretation of the apara educational system, misinterpretation, leads to Sanātana Dharma being submerged into darkness. So Lord Sri Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years ago. Veda Vyasa was alive when the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Veda Vyasa witnessed the entire Mahabharata and then he wrote it. It happened in real time in Veda Vyasa's life. All these Vedas were reduced to writing before Veda Vyasa left this planet Earth. All the Vedas were written, they were written on palm fronds. We didn't have paper and printing press at that point in time. But the Vedas were all written, and it was written for you and I, Jessica. And it has to be followed because it was written for you and I. It was written for mankind in Kaliyug, not in any other yug. Vedas are only codified and compiled for mankind in Kaliyug. And these Vedas must last for the next 27,000 years. We understanding. But like what is happening now, ISKCON and other institutions took their own authority and went against the Vedas. So when Lord Sri Krishna left, King Pariksit had an encounter with Kali. Not Mother Kali, but Kali from Kaliyug. And when King Pariksit banished him or wanted to banish him, then Kaliyug said, "It is my season. I have to stay somewhere. You cannot banish me from this entire planet. I have to live somewhere." And King Pariksit said, "Okay, you can live where there's brothels, you can live where there's alcohol, drugs and gambling. And you can live where there's gold." And Kaliyug, being very shrewd and cunning and deceptive, he saw King Pariksit wearing a crown, and he saw the gold right there, and he entered the gold of the crown. And where's the gold of the crown? And where is the crown placed? On the head. And he started his nonsense with the emperor of the world. King Pariksit was the last emperor of the world. So when king went past a saint, and the saint continued his meditation without acknowledging King Pariksit, King Pariksit threw a dead snake around his neck. King Pariksit would have never done that. He did it because Kali of Kaliyug entered his mind and corrupted his mind. That was the first corruption of Kaliyug, and the son of the saint cursed King Pariksit, and he must die in 7 days. And that is how the Srimad Bhagavatam was born. King Pariksit called all the saints and sages from around India, and he wanted to know in 7 days everything that is to be known. And that's how the Srimad Bhagavatam started, and that is the gist of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Thereafter, Sanātana Dharma began losing its way. False preachers, false gods, false avatars like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu claimed to be Lord Krishna, which is totally false and in contradiction. Whatever Lord Sri Krishna said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said the opposite. This is Kali Yuga. This is Kali Yuga. And we have the greatest example of Kali Yuga today is ISKCON. Yes or no? Yes. Biggest example of ISKCON is Kali Yuga. Alright? I'm just going to read a verse. I just somehow find these things, Satish. I came here now and I found it. This verse is from the Srimad Bhagavatam of Swami Prabhupada, Canto 5, Chapter 6. And listen to the irony. Listen to the irony. This verse reads, text 11, Canto 5, chapter 6, text 11. And this verse reads, low-class people, due to their gross ignorance, introduce a system of religion that deviates from the Vedic principles, full stop. Following their own mental concoctions, they automatically fall down into the darkest regions of existence. This is by Swami Prabhupada himself. This is by Swami Prabhupada himself. And this is why I've been so consistently taking him on, head on, with absolutely no respect for him. Because if he wrote, if he translated this, that means he knew full well what he was saying and doing. He deliberately, because the Brahmas, when in the purport of the Brahma Samhitas, he states that the Brahma Samhitas is higher than the Vedas. And the Vedas must be rejected and the Brahma Samhitas must be followed. Yet in his own, and there's thousands here, you can see, Guru got it. What you call this?
Text.
Huh?
Text.
Sticky notes.
Sticky notes. Guru got sticky notes for the past 10 years on this book, Satish. I didn't start this yesterday. For many years I've been waiting patiently for someone else to do the job. Unfortunately, Satish, you know Indians. When I saw nobody want to do this job, then I took it upon myself. Okay? So you understand where I'm coming from when I'm attacking ISKCON. Because they themselves, Swami Prabhupada himself is agreeing with me, is he not?
Yes.
That the Vedas is fully structured, only low class people. What class that is?
Low.
And how high they thought they were, Trisha, when you met them?
Untouchable.
Untouchables. Yes?
You guys were writing about themselves.
Yeah, they were writing about themselves. They are untouchables. Please don't touch a ISKCONite. Okay? So this is how we're going to dismantle them brick by brick. Maybe I won't have enough time in this 20 days, but we are going to continue until they are non-existent. As I said, you can't have people like this teaching you transcendental knowledge. Because transcendental knowledge is absolutely pure, and 1 + 1 must equal to 2 at every level. At every level. And let's go back there. When Lord Shri Krishna left, Kaliyug came through, and Kaliyug started. So for Kaliyug to exist, Sanātana Dharma had to be clouded. Yes or no?
Yes.
Kaliyug and Sanātana Dharma can't live equally. And this is how all the false philosophies, false teachings, animal sacrifices, goat cutting, pig cutting, chicken cutting. Satish, I missed out any cutting? Yeah, they were even cutting humans, alright? Bengal. So all these sacrifices was through misinterpretation of the Vedas. Misinterpretation of the Vedas. I'll give you an example. That boy want to become a Pandit behind you, Jessica. If he was in India, in those years, he'll say, come with 10 sheep, there's a Veda here, and let's slaughter this sheep. At that point in time, ordinary man didn't have copy of the, so what they're going to do? And then what happens to that false knowledge? And then everyone, what's happening to the poor animals? What's happening to the equilibrium of sheep? What is becoming to the equilibrium of goat? What is becoming the equilibrium of pigs? They are being killed before their time. Because the Vedas does not take into consideration 10,000 sheep to be cut at a festival time. It's not there in the Vedas. That means this sheep was not supposed to be killed. These goats were not supposed to be killed. So what's happening to the equilibrium of the living entity? It's getting messed up. Because in that next life, that sheep supposed to become a man or supposed to become something else, it has to come back and be a sheep. So if it had to be a sheep, and it was you as well, Jessica, and me, you understand? Because in one lifetime we are human, the next lifetime we are animals. Does it not backtrack your spiritual evolution? Does it? Yes. So anything that backtracks your original evolution is against Sanātana Dharma, is it not?
Yes.
Because Sanātana Dharma is there for you to evolve spiritually until you are liberation, until you are liberated. So when this happened for over 2,000 years, for over 2,000 years, Lord Shree Narayan incarnated as Buddha 2,500 years ago. Lord Shree Narayan incarnated as Buddha 2,500 years ago because people were just killing animals for everything. If Avir wanted to get married to Ashmika, 12 goats. Cyril told him 24, Avir could only afford 12 goats. Then Ashmika told her father, and you know how many thousands. Ashmika, you know, I don't know. Alright? And then God had to intervene. God had to intervene. So he was born as Buddha, and it wasn't going to be easy for him to take the mind of the people and show them that this section of the Vedas, this section of the Vedas, this section of the Vedas were misinterpreted. He just said, don't believe in the Vedas. What he said? And he proposed an atheistic philosophy. But God being God, all morals, all ethics, all dharma was still contained. He just changed the conclusion of the Vedas. He changed the conclusion of the Vedas, still maintaining dharmic principles. So what happened? The whole of India became Buddhist. And they became vegetarian again. But can life go on without knowledge of the Vedas?
No.
Wasn't? So God, in His meticulous planning, in His precision planning, it's there in the Padma Puran that Lord Shiva will incarnate and promote a trans-theistic theory. So Lord Buddha promoted a atheistic theory, but he was successful in saving the unlawful killing of animals. Then it is in the Padma Purana, and all this information that I'm giving you, I have received from my Guru, who has received from his Guru, which was being collated, codified by Lord Shree Ramanuj. Alright, I just want to make that clear. It will be improper if I keep saying my Guruji said, Lord Ramanuj said. So I'm giving you this information freehand, but in this month I want to tie in Guruji and I want to tie in Lord Ramanuj. Without Guruji I could not have attained all this information. This information I'm giving you, I do not have the Padma Purana yet with me to give you this information. But it's there in the Padma Purana that Lord Shiva will incarnate and promote a trans-theistic theory. And it was Lord Shiva who was Shankar Acharya, who lived for 32 years, 1,200 years ago. 1,200 years ago, it was Lord Shiva who incarnated as Shankar Acharya and posited a trans-theistic theory, which is Advaita. Trans-theistic theory, which is Advaita, and he only lived for 32 years. He only lived for 32 years. Trans-theistic means neither atheistic or theistic. Neither atheistic nor theistic. And he laid the ground. He laid the ground for Lord Shree Ramanuj 2 years later, 1,000 years ago, 200 years after Adi Shankaracharya, 1,000 years ago from where we are, 1,009 years ago, Lord Ramanuj was born. And from the foundation of Adi Shankaracharya, he revived the original Vedas. He revived the original Vedas per pattern. But he went through rigorous Vedic education. He went through vigorous Vedic education until he mastered the Vedas from parameter to parameter. It was only then, and after 60 years of his life, at Shree Rangam. Our headquarters is Shree Rangam, at Shree Rangam, where his body sits as a spiritual witness to his teachings. Where his body sits today, 1,000 years later, as a spiritual witness to his absolute teachings. There has been no other guru subsequent who delivered what Lord Ramanuj delivered. In the disciplic succession, you can only deliver what your guru delivered. Jessica, no trance. And then deliver knowledge through a trance. That is pure madness. You can only deliver knowledge through the Vedas, which comes through the bona fide disciplic succession. So, are you understanding what happened after Lord Shri Krishna left? 2,500 years after Lord Shri Krishna left, the world was in total darkness. Like the world is today, it's in total darkness. Is it not? Is it not? Are the ISKCON devotees raping children?
Yes.
Are they involved in murder?
Yes.
Are they involved in embezzlement?
Yes.
Are they involved in financial? Are they fighting as I'm talking? Are the GBC and the Ritvik gurus fighting on who are real? Is this not a confusion in Sanātana Dharma? If people on the outside, this is an international organization. When we bring this big Kaliyug down, Trisha, how much of pure breathing on this planet Earth? Because these are the people that claimed to be Vaishnavites. Yes? These are the people that claimed to be heading Sanātana Dharma, and they are producing the most criminals. And I'm not saying this, they are saying this themselves. There are thousands of YouTube videos where they are accusing each other, and then we got the courts and we got judgments. So this is nothing from the Guru. How can the Guru be jealous of an organization like ISKCON, Krishna? I must be jealous of somebody that is greater than my Lord Ramanuj. Trisha, don't you think? Yes, I'll be very, very jealous and envious if anyone can be greater than my Lord Ramanuj and my Swami Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. How can I be jealous, Trisha, of thugs, of murderers, of child rapers, of molesters? Can I be jealous of those people? Jai Sriman Narayan. Vasan got alive at